Hello everyone and welcome to our channel, and today I will be reading a Rengoku with the center of Aime. So let's get into it. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, painting the sky with warm hues of orange and gold. And you were standing near the trading grounds, catching your breath after a sparring session with one of the younger demon slayers. Your laugh rang out, light and carefree, as you exchanged playful banter with your sparring partner. It had been an innocent interaction, really. However, you didn't notice the pair of fiery eyes watching you from a distance. Oyon. Rengoku's voice cut through the chatter and drew your attention. You turned to see him striding forward, his Harry bellowing slightly with his quick pace. His usual warm smile was absent, replaced with something far more intense in nature. And you instinctively straightened, a little surprised by his demeanor. Kyojuro? Is something wrong? He greeted, trying to gauge his mood, and he stopped in front of you, his golden red eyes locked onto yours, burning with an emotion you couldn't quite place. Why were you sparring with him? He asked, his voice steady but tinged with something sharper. You blinked, taken aback. Do I need a reason to spar with people now? I was just helping him with his technique. He asked me for some pointers. That's all. Rengoku's gaze flickered to the young slayer, who was now standing awkwardly to the side, clearly intimidated by the Hashir's presence. And you could have directed him to someone else, couldn't you? He said, his attention snapping back to you. Your brows sorrowed. It was no trouble, Kyojuro. I think you're blowing things out of proportion. He was trying to improve, and that was all. He stepped closer, his towering frame casting a shadow over you. You may be too kind for your own good, but I see the way he looks at you. And I do not like seeing someone so close to you either, he said, his voice low and quiet, so only you could hear. And you felt your cheeks heat at his words, a mix of embarrassment and confusion flooding you. Are you jealous? You asked hesitantly, your voice soft but surprised. And his lips pressed into a thin line before he let out a heavy sigh. Perhaps I am. You're mine, Mayan. And I do not like the idea of anyone forgetting that. He admitted, his honesty as unwavering as always. And your heart skipped a beat at the possessiveness in his tone, though it was not overbearing. It was protective, a fierce declaration that only Kyojuro could make sound so genuine. I wasn't trying to make you feel that way. You know I care about you. Only you, he said gently, reaching out to place a hand on his arm, and his gaze softened at your words, though the intensity did not fully fade. I know. But seeing you with someone, and laughing like that, it stirred something in me, and I couldn't help it. He smiled softly, your fingers curling around his. And you make me laugh more than that without even trying. You don't have to worry, Kyojuro. His expression relaxed further, and the corner of his lips tucked upward into a faint smile. You have a way of calming even the strongest of flames, he murmured, his voice filled with affection. And before you could respond, he took a step closer closing the distance between you. His hand slid to the back of your neck, his touch firm but gentle as he tilted your face up to meet his gaze. I need to make you understand. You're mine, Mayan. And I'll remind you of that as often as it takes. He whispered, and your breath hitched as his lips captured yours in a kiss. Warm, passionate, and filled with all the intensity that defined him. His other hand rested on your waist, pulling you closer as if to solidify his claim. And you melted into him, your hands signing their way to his chest as you kissed him back, the world around you fading into insignificance. And when he finally pulled back, his forehead rested against yours, his fiery gaze softer now. Forgive me. I didn't mean to come across as overbearing. I can't stand the thought of losing you. Your heart swelled at his words, and you cupped his cheek, your thumb brushing against his skin. And you have nothing to worry about. You're not going to lose me, Kyojuro. I'm yours. Always. He smiled then. Good. Because I'm yours as well. Entirely and fully yours. He tickled softly, leaning into his touch. Well, I don't think that anyone could ever doubt that. He laughed, the sound rich and full of life, as he wrapped his arms around you in a warm embrace. Let's go then, he said, pulling back just enough to take your hand. We'll spend the evening together, and I'll remind you just how much you mean to me. And you could tell with that fire in his eyes, he was willing to do a lot just to give you a nice reminder. And as you walked hand in hand, you couldn't help but really smile. His possessiveness was not overbearing. It was simply a reflection of how deeply he cared. And most of the time, he didn't feel this way. So when he did, you were going to make sure you reassure him and make him feel as loved as he always makes you feel in return.